Hey guys, Victor here, back at you again with another video. As many of you guys already know, the Pyro update is right around the corner, and many people in the TF2 community are speculating and saying that it will most likely drop within this month. So that basically means that we have like 1 or 2 weeks until this update should drop. And to be honest, if the Pyro update drops, it'll be one of the biggest updates that TF2 will ever have. And I thought that maybe I should share some of what I'm expecting from the update and what I think are the most important things that the update needs to provide. So I'll be talking about casual fixes and competitive fixes that Valve needs to cover. Some of the biggest issues that I had with the Meet Your Match update was the fact that when you got into a game, there was always a possibility that you wouldn't be in a full server, and even if you were, when the game ended, literally everybody would leave, and those that stayed were then played with ridiculously low populations. Although I've seen these effects slowly wear off, I would like to see some sort of system implemented that would prevent people from joining a game with low population numbers. For example, if only 6 people from a server want to do a rematch, I would suggest having the system not even put them in that map and just re-queue you. I know in Overwatch the system says that you're leaving the server because there are not enough players, and if TF2 had something like this implemented, there would be fewer cases of 3v3s or just low population servers in general. Another issue that I had with casual matchmaking was the fact that you always ended up facing against really strong opponents, and that is probably due to the fact that you are typically facing off against people that are queuing together. Nowadays, the levels actually sort of are a somewhat indicator of how experienced the person is. Typically, what I've noticed is that if a person has a red badge beside their name, when you press tab to check the scoreboard, they are typically near the top and are typically trying to win the game. So it might be safe to say that as time progresses, levels gained somewhat have a meaning. But it really, if you just grind it on TF2, it might not necessarily mean that you're good at the game. I would really like to see some sort of meaning behind ranks and levels. If the system figured out what your main class was and how well you're doing compared to others of that same class, and used those statistics to place you in a proper match with a diverse range of people with different classes they main, we might start seeing more balanced teams. The TF team at Valve should also develop a system that takes into account active hours played for the classes that a player has and uses those as indicators of experience. Altogether, team balance is an extremely important thing in games in order to make them enjoyable. The last issue that I had with the casual side of matchmaking was that there really wasn't any incentive to play a game. Yeah, sure, you got a kick out of having your medal change color, but after over 1,000 plus games in casual, I think it's safe to say that it lost that sort of appeal, and I really think that Valve should add some sort of rewards for leveling up. But they also must be careful not to screw up the economy by adding too much supply in one area. I think it might be cool to have skinned weapons as a prize, or even maybe something cosmetic that distinguishes you from other players in game. I was thinking maybe having some sort of star above your head, or other symbols, or even your current medal floating above your head, or something that would indicate your level to your teammates in game. This sort of cosmetic representation of skill that all your teammates can see clearly could appeal to some players. If there is an incentive to play, there will be more people playing casual and queue times will be shorter. The balancing algorithm will have a bigger pool to work with and will make more balanced games. Now on the competitive aspects that I think are the most important, if Valve does these things right, the future for TF2 as an esport might actually have a chance. The first thing that really made me not want to play Valve competitive would be the fact that it is not in any way optimal for most gamers. I found that when playing Valve's comp, I would see a significant frame drop. It also doesn't allow players that use DX8 to play, which means that a lot of FPS configs out there that players with older PCs use can't actually play competitive. I think if Valve looks more into making these 10-year-old games more optimal for most users, they'll see an increase in people who want to play. One of the biggest things that Valve really needs to get right is the punishment against hackers and hacker preventing systems. If there was one thing that made comp actually horrendous, was the amount of hackers that I would see playing. In some cases, there will be a full team of hackers. I really want to see a way where we can record these hackers or even request a demo be recorded, where we can send this evidence off to Valve where they can handle their punishments accordingly. Many other games really enforce their punishments against hackers, but I've only really witnessed these reoccurring hackers that play comp the whole day come back, day after day, just ruining everybody's days in TF2. Something that comp shares with casual is the fact that teams can be really unbalanced. I think one solution to this would be having 10 placement matches to determine your real skill and experience, but this would require an algorithm that Valve could use to figure these things out. By the time everyone has done their 10 placement matches, they would be divided into their own separate categories where they could play against players that are generally the same skill level. In conclusion, there are a lot of things that we can be looking forward to and things that we might also want from the update, whether it be new cosmetics, new weapons, new maps, contracts, or even balancing the Pyro. I think it's really important that Valve fixes what the game is right now, like fixing all things that really matter at its core. If Valve doesn't fix the core elements of the game, we might see a major decline in TF2. That being said, I'm actually looking forward to the update and have hope that Valve can pull this off. Anyways guys, that's it from me. Thanks for watching and peace out.